when I was initially applying for permanent residency, the wait time looked to be about 9 months. And from the point that we sent in the application, I think it actually took about 8 weeks to come back with my permanent residency. And I do think that is because of... Hi, my name is Jenny Kacharuba, and I was very fortunate to be one of Learn How's first clients. My situation was I had moved to Canada on a work permit, and I had applied for that work permit myself when I was living in the UK, and I just found the whole process to be really hard. The website for the government of Canada not very easy to navigate or comprehend, and even trying to get all of the materials I needed, it took a lot of work and effort. When I first started looking into permanent residency, it just seemed really overwhelming how many different avenues I could take, what was the right one to go, some of the expressions and terms, I wasn't sure did I meet the criteria or not. And so that was when I first reached out to Lola and Learn How and just asked for her advice. And she was great, giving me advice before I'd even taken them on to be my consultants, and just helping me to look and see what was the best path for me to take. And so it was such a great experience before I even came on as a client, actually, to just have someone who was willing to share with me and help me and see which would be the easiest avenue for me to take. And so this time going into the process, Lola was fantastic at giving me all the information I needed, helping to explain things like the express entry program, when to apply, when to go for different testing that I needed. It was just so much easier and smoother, and even how she would explain different things, put together different letters for me, help me do the process of we need this paperwork at this time, so it didn't feel like everything was happening at once. And she just really had such knowledge that for myself on my own, it would have been really difficult to navigate and really stressful, actually. Even in terms of looking at the wait times for how long the process would take, some of those questions that I had, I think for researching on my own, it would have been really difficult. But having Lola as someone who knew what to look for, knew where to go to find things too, just made the whole process so much simpler. I found working with Learn How just such a great experience. There was a real personal touch where Lola would get in touch with me regularly, keep me updated on anything that was coming through, let me know the different things that would be needed at different times, and just seeing if I was okay and how I was feeling with it, not feeling too overwhelmed by everything that we were looking at and having to get records for. But I honestly know that there is so much more that went into my application that I would never have thought of on my own. Different letters, different pieces of evidence, just even some of the things to do with travel too that were needed. I really leaned on Lola to give me the information of, okay, which pieces do we need to include, which do we not need to include, and she was so great at helping me to figure out what I needed and what I didn't. And I think that there were a few, as I said earlier, some extra touches that Lola was like, we should include this, we could add this too. And I believe that really speeded up the process. When I was initially applying for permanent residency, the wait time looked to be about 9 months. And from the point that we sent in the application, I think it actually took about 8 weeks to come back with my permanent residency. And I do think that is because of some of the extra things that she had included, which meant that the customs officer looking at my application just had everything they needed. We didn't have to go back and forth at all. It was literally a case of sending in the application, the wait time, and then the application being approved. And so it was, for me, when I was applying for my work permit, it took 8 months to come through, and that was supposed to be a 6-week wait list. And so this time, it was just so much better, a whole different experience for me, a huge relief when that came through so quickly. And I think that's because of just what was included, the expert advice that I had from Learn How, the different things that they helped me to include really did just make the biggest difference for my application. So I'd love to just say a huge thank you to Lola and Learn How Immigration for my whole journey and process with my permanent residency. I know it was so much more stress-free, so much easier and simpler, knowing that I had someone who had the expert advice on my side, and I can't thank them enough for what they've did, and I'm sure I will be back again when it comes time for citizenship, because it's just so worth it. So if you're wanting some help with your immigration process, choose Learn How Immigration.